Have you ever wondered why the tiny, fluffy creatures that many of us share our homes with take a dump in a plastic box filled with, essentially, dirt? I mean, it's not dirt, but it's a fancy, expensive dirt. It's pretty close to dirt. And honestly, I have suggested to clients sometimes that they just use dirt in their litter box, but that's a separate topic entirely. Cat litter is more fascinating than you'd think, and as you'll soon learn, even if you don't love the current options out there, it's better than what we used to use. And you'll be surprised at when exactly it was invented. Yes, we are talking about the history of cat litter. I swear it's exciting. Now, depending on where you live, the thought of having outdoor-only or indoor-outdoor cats may fill you with the rage of 1,000 suns. It might also be totally normal for you. We're not going into that debate because, woof, that's a topic in and of itself. But believe it or not, until not too long ago, most cats were kept exclusively outdoors. Part of this had to do with cats needing to pee or poop somewhere, and that somewhere usually ended up being outdoors in the dirt, because most people don't like having cat pee or poop all over their stuff. That's not to say that cats weren't offered places to take a leak indoors, but it just wasn't as easy to maintain that space as it is today. Cats instinctually prefer using litter that is soft, sandy, and that they can easily bury their waste in after they use it, which is part of why we don't really train adult cats to use their litter box, and you definitely don't need to put your cat in their litter box to help them. That's not going to help anything. If your cat isn't using the litter box, it's not because they don't know it's there. There's something else going on. People would often take other items and repurpose them into litter boxes, oftentimes things made of metal or ceramic, like old baking trays, or I really hope that they were old, because I hope that nobody tried reusing them for baking. That tray would be filled with all sorts of cookies that would probably not taste very good. Those aren't chocolate chips. The trays would be filled with all sorts of different materials, such as sand or newspaper or ash from the fireplaces. Now, these all function to contain the waste, but they lacked a key advantage of modern cat litter that we'll get to in a moment. Depending on what was used, there were actually a few unique disadvantages to each type of litter. Ash, for example, would create cute little black paw prints around the home. Most people did not enjoy these tiny decorations, though, and it didn't match their aesthetic. So thankfully, these days, if you want a cat's paw print, there are Clean Touch ink pads that are both a delightful craft project and not going to result in your cat redecorating your home. It was basically the best option that we had, though, until the 1940s. Yes, the 1940s, as in 80-ish years ago. Modern cat litter, especially clay-based cat litter, hasn't been around for that long. It hasn't even been a full century yet. We haven't even come up on the 100-year anniversary of cat litter, which, when we are coming up on the 100-year anniversary of cat litter, I think I'm gonna throw like a cat litter centennial or something. Oh man, that's gonna be fun. I'm the only person on the planet that thinks that a 100-year cat litter celebration would be fun. Also, its typically credited inventor might not be the person who actually deserves credit. I'll let you decide on that one, though. Let's get to the story. Legend has it, because yes, cats taking stinky poops are things of legend. Just ask my cat Prozac. He has had a few legendarily stinky poops. That modern cat litter was invented in Michigan in 1947 when a woman named Kay Draper, or Draper, I don't know. We're gonna just say Draper. We're just gonna say Draper, was looking for something she could use as the litter for her cat that wasn't as messy as ashes. She checked in with local businessman Edward Lowe, who would sell sawdust and other materials, hoping that he had some sand that she could use. Fun fact for those not familiar with Michigan, it gets pretty dang cold in the winter, so Miss Draper's dreams of getting sand to use as litter were frozen in their tracks by, well, ice and frozen sand. The sand was basically a giant sand ice block. Lowe, looking for something to give her, handed her a bag of clay particles because it was close enough. And it wasn't encased in ice, which is actually a key feature of it. It was not encased in ice. Draper took this home, and to her delight, it was even better than sand. The clay contained the odor better and would form a nice solid clump when cats peed on it, making it easier to clean. She began requesting more clay particles from Lowe and then started telling all of her friends about this. I imagine Lowe's eyes probably turned into big dollar signs, though I can't actually find any historical evidence to verify that, so we'll just assume that's what happened. And he saw an opportunity to make a fortune from urine. He saw the opportunity to make his fortune from cat pee. He packed up the clay particles, sold it as kitty litter, and people went wild for it. While clay litter does have its issues, there's a reason it has stuck around. It meets the preferences of cats. It generally controls odors fairly well as long as you keep up with maintaining the litter box, and its clumping properties make scooping really easy. Today, there are all sorts of other options available besides clay litter. There's litters made out of everything from trees to grass seeds to coffee. I'd rather drink the coffee, but not after it's been used as litter, to coconuts. Not all of them are great though, and cats don't love every kind of litter. Looking at you, pine-based litters and crystal litters and those stupid pelleted litters. But there are many options regardless of whether cats actually like those options. And of course, there's still the choice of using sand. Getting back to the invention of cat litter, the real question becomes, who actually invented clay cat litter? Well, Edward Lowe did give it to Kay Draper. He really just had it sitting around and handed her a bag of it because it was not frozen solid like sand. Draper was the one who actually put it to use and identified its odor-containing and scooping properties. Lowe is often credited with it because he marketed it, but Draper can't be forgotten in this story. But if we're being honest, there's someone else who deserves credit because they did the hard work of taking a dump in the clay particles. Kay Draper's cats. So next time you're scooping your litter box and admiring your floors free of tiny little paw prints made of soot, remember these heroic felines and say a word of thank you. I guess you can also thank Edward Lowe and Kay Draper, but we're Team Cats around here, so let's focus on the contributions of those amazing felines. Looking to learn more about cat litter and cat behavior, including practical tips on maintaining a litter box? Hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified when I have more expert tips ready for you. Now, go scoop your litter box.